Hello everybody, Maven here, and before the launch of Season 19, Glaives have always counted as melees, but they didn't count as melees when it comes to the Titan exotics, the Wormgod's Caress, and the Warlock exotic, the Winter's Guile. But with the recent TWAB and the release of Season 19 in the patch notes, they announced that the Glaives will now work with the exotic perks of these exotics, and that is insane. Bungie knew that that would be broken, so they had to implement some nerfs. They brought down the overall damage of Glaives, the base damage. They also reduced 25 to 30% damage that you would do against champions, bosses, and mini bosses, and as well as the exotics themselves, the Wormgod's Caress and the Winter's Guile, the maximum damage stack melee modifiers on them they brought down from 7.5x down to 3.5x. A really big nerf, but at the end of the day, it's still gonna be insane that Glaives work with these exotics. So today, we're gonna be taking a look at a build for the Titan and the Warlock, utilizing both of their given exotics with the Glaives and showing you how insane it is. So stay tuned, and if you are new here and you enjoy crazy builds for Destiny 2 PvE and PvP and weapon reviews just like this, then make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get to the build breakdown. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so I should preface this build breakdown by showing off my glaive of choice here. It is the Nezarac's Whisper for a couple reasons. So this is the role, and the extrovert origin trait is very nice in this thing. Final blows while near multiple combatants will restore health, and is actually a decent amount and really helps keep you alive, so I really like that. And then we also have enhanced demolitionist on it, so you're granted plus 22% grenade energy back on final blows. But note that it is not on melee final blows, it is only on the ranged attack final blows. And I always have to preface every glaive video with this little bit of information, but when you are using a glaive, if your attacks are looking like this, you are doing it wrong. They should look like this, and to do this, all you have to do is hold down the block button while you are swinging your glaive, and this way the attacks come out at a much faster rate. Alright, so let's take a look at the Wormgod Caress. It says that melee kills increase melee damage for a period of time, which is 5 seconds, and additional kills extend the duration and increase the effect. So when you get a melee kill, it is going to give you a stack of burning fists. You can get up to a maximum of 5 stacks, and each stack lasts 5 seconds. The timer refreshes on each kill. So I'm demonstrating it on this clip right now, and here are the damage numbers. At the maximum stacks, we're getting up to 60,000 damage per melee. At the rate the glaive can melee, that is a lot of DPS. So to put that damage into perspective, here is a clip of us using the glaive melee against Carl with no Wormgod buffs. This is just the base glaive melee damage. And now here we go again, but this time we're getting the maximum stacks of the Wormgod's Caress, times 5 burning fists, and let's see how fast we can melt him now. So as you can see, it's a pretty significant damage increase. It does really heavy DPS against majors. But we can do better damage than that, and that is because on Titan specifically, we are pairing this build with the Ranghill D with enhanced auto-loading holster and enhanced 1-2 punch. Now, I'll put this patch note on the screen as well, but 1-2 punch also got a nerf because it was just straight up one-shotting bosses with the Wormgod's Caress times 5 plus the 1-2 punch. So it did get nerfed down a bit, but it's still extremely powerful, and we can take advantage of it with this build. So the first step of this process is an aspect called Offensive Bulwark. It says that while we have an overshield, we get doubled melee damage. So that is going to further increase the effects of our 1-2 punch being able to one-shot bosses. So that is step number 1. We have to get an overshield. So that brings us to step number 2, which is the Bastion aspect. It says that putting down your barricade is going to give you an overshield, and we're using the quick charging rally barricade. So you've seen it happening in the background gameplay. We're just racking up those stacks, and then I put down a barricade in front of like a small red bar enemy so that I can get my overshield, and then I go and kill that little red bar so that I can maintain the duration of my burning fist stacks, and then I will go and find a big fat enemy, and I will just slide 1-2 punch and shoulder charge them with the shield bash. And that is going to obliterate them when you have the time 5 stacks of Burning Fist. So that is the cream of the crop right there. That is what makes this build what it is. However, I will say this. I also did a little bit of testing without a glaive and just the Wormgods alone, because the offensive bulwark perk does not work on your glaive melee, it works on your uncharged base melee. So your base melee with offensive bulwark active will actually do more damage in the end than your actual glaive melee. So why would you use a glaive? Well, the only reason for using a glaive is because you can melee at a faster rate. That is literally the only reason why. You can melee at a quicker rate, however your base melee can also do the job. So it is up to you if it is actually worth using a glaive or not. Anyways, before we get to the Warlock build, and I did save the best for last by the way, I'll just go over the rest of the Titan build. So we are running an Elemental Well setup. Of course, we got a copy of Bountiful Wells with 3 copies of Elemental Ordnance. So when we throw our grenade at an enemy, we get 4 Elemental Wells, and then we have a copy of Seeking Wells so that they track towards us, make them easier to pick up. And the reason that we are doing this kind of setup is because we're trying to get as much ability energy from these Void Elemental Wells as possible to recharge our Rally Barricade, because our Rally Barricade is how we get that offensive bulwark online so we can go around 1-2 punching things. And then for additional barricade energy, I even have 2 copies of Bolstering Detonation on my gloves. However, I'm not sure if they actually stack, so you can just run one, kind of does the same thing. But you throw a grenade at an enemy and it will give you a bit of rally barricade energy back. So you get your barricade back super fast with this setup. So here are my stats for this build. I would aim for going triple hundreds in resilience, discipline, and strength. And my heavy of choice is going to be the Gallarhorn, because why the heck not? We got a free exotic slot and it's a Gallarhorn. By the way, shoutouts to this amazing new nerf Gallarhorn skin. I love it. And now here is a little overview of my aspects, fragments, and abilities. I'm using Echo of Persistence to increase the duration of our Void Overshield from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. And then we have Echo of Exchange so that glaive melee final blows will grant us a little chunk of grenade energy. And then we have Echo of Provision, so we damage enemies with grenades. It grants us melee energy that'll help us recharge our shield bash so that we can go 1-2 punching things more frequently. And now I will leave a dim link to today's builds in the description and in the pinned comments, and with that, let's move on to the Warlock build. And now we are on to the Warlock build, and this one is truly something special. I saved the best for last. You might think that if there's a melee-based build, Titan's gonna be the best, right? But no, I actually truly believe that the Warlock is gonna be better. You can make better use of the Glaive because, like I said before, because Titans are meant to punch, and you got that offensive bulwark, your base melees can do the job just as good as your Glaive can. So there's no real big reason to use the Glaive on Titan, but Warlocks don't punch as efficiently as Titans, so you can actually use the Glaive a lot better. Now, we should start by saying that the Winter's Guile does work the exact same way as the Wormgod Caress. Now, why would you use a Warlock when it works the same exact way as it does on Titan? Well, the biggest reason why is because of the aspect called Feed the Void. Defeating a target with the Void ability will grant Devour. You get easy access to Devour, and that is huge for running around with the Glaive amidst all the danger. Because I found myself on Titan dying a lot or having to escape combat because I was on red health and I was not regenerating. But with the Warlock, with Devour, you can run around all day long not caring about anything that's shooting at you, and you're just going to instantly regenerate all your health on every final blow. It is absolutely massive and very important, because we all know that the key to a good PvE build right now is survivability. Survivability over everything. And now, something to know intrinsically about the Devour ability is that it says that final blows while you have Devour active will grant grenade energy as well. That's a little bit of hidden text that some people don't know about. And what's extra special about that ability is that it stacks on top of Echo of Exchange, the one we mentioned a second ago, that melee final blows grant grenade energy. So you're running around slaying out with the Glaive, you're going to be recharging your grenade at a crazy fast rate. Now, I will show a little clip right here to show you what I mean. I'm going to throw away my grenade, and I'm just going to get simply 3 Glaive kills, and that will fully restore my grenade. So this is also a very effective Grenadier build as well. And since we are fully restoring our grenade that easily, we're pretty much making sure that we have easy access to Devour if we ever happen to run out of it. And because we are spamming grenades at such a crazy rate, we're able to take very good advantage of Echo of Undermining. This is our Void Grenade's weakened target. targets gives them a 15% debuff, so when we go in with our glaive with times 5 stacks on Winter's Guile, we can absolutely melt them. And also using undermining on a boss and then just shooting a bunch of Gallarhorn shots at them, that works as well. And my primary choice for this build is the Hung Jury with surplus and explosive payload. So the top slot, your kinetic slot, really does not matter with this build. You can kind of just run whatever you want. Since we are kind of lacking range here, I figured I'd just go with the Scout for the heck of it, although I rarely use it. I'm mainly just running around with the Glaive and the Gallarhorn. So for my additional mods of this build, we were running the same setup as a Titan, and we got bolstering detonation on our gloves as well as double bomber on our class items, so we get some grenade energy when we place down our class ability. And then this build, since it also is a grenadier build, I'm making use of ashes to assets on my helmet, so I get some more super energy on grenade final blows, which can happen pretty frequently here. And also know that the adrenaline junkie perk that I have on my glaive, my Nezarac's Whisper, can actually be useful with this build. So on to an overview of our abilities. We got Child of the Old Gods because it does more for us here than Chaos Accelerant and gives us an extra fragment slot. We're running Echo of Persistence to increase our Devour duration. And then I have Echo of Leashing simply just for the stat boost, the plus 10 resilience. However, you should note that Glaive Final Blows will trigger Echo of Leashing and start health regeneration. If you don't have Devour active, that could save your life in a pinch. And while we are here, I might as well mention that a couple months ago, I did a video on this Immortal Warlock build that was very similar to this one, but instead of the Winter's Guile, we were using the Karnstein armlets, and the build was more themed around just never dying. If you wanted to check that out as well, I'll post it in the link in the top right corner in the card. So on to the wrap up. That is going to do it for the builds. Which one was your favorite? For me, I gotta say that my favorite build today was the Warlock one, because the Devour is just huge for surviving. And you know, the Titan one is cool with the 1-2 punch, but like I said, it doesn't technically need the glaive. You know, the Warlock can make better use of the glaive in my opinion here with this kind of setup. So if you have any questions about today's builds, feel free to ask in the comments and I will try to answer them as I see them. And also, leave a comment, what should I make a build around next? Because there was a lot of really cool changes in that massive TWAB we just got. There was so many changes with Season 19, so what should I build around next? Let me know your thoughts. And if you have that one freakish friend we all have who refuses to ever take off a glaive and has like a level 1790 Enigma, feel free to share this video with them. I'm sure they find it useful. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.